Hello and welcome to my channel. If you're regular, then you'll know my name's Matt, and if you're not a regular, then my name's still Matt. And this is my journey from being a overweight middle-aged chap to being hopefully a not overweight middle-aged chap with some fitness. So it started my journey back in June, and I was quite heavy, and I've been talking you guys through my journey on a weekly basis. Started off with 4 weeks at a time on the videos, and then we moved to weekly. So what are we going to talk about this week? So we're going to talk about my journey over the last week, or the last 2 weeks actually, because what I'm going to do is I'm going to change the setup for the videos. So I film these videos on the basis of the Monday the previous week. I think from my perspective, when I'm talking, it's easier for me to talk about the Monday for the week just gone. So when I put this video out on a Friday, it's going to be talking about the week up to the Monday just gone. So we'll start that this week. And we're also going to talk a little bit about my fitness journey, and something that happened last week, which I think messed things up a little bit. And how Wegovy's going, and I'll have done 4 weeks of Wegovy now. So has that made me lose any more weight or not? Let's see. So I forgot to say, make sure if you're enjoying this, you give us a like, give us a follow, give us a subscription, and click that bell. All this helps with growing the channel. So, weight. So if you remember, on the last video, my weight had pretty much stuck the same at 11 stone 6 pounds and a half, or 6.5 pounds, which is 160.5 pounds, or just over 72 kilos. So when I weighed myself on the 13th of October, that's what I weighed, which was after I'd done Wegovy for a couple of weeks. Then I weighed myself again on the 20th of October, which will have been 2 weeks ago, and my weight was 11 stone 8.5, so that will be 2 pounds on. Shocking, that, 2 pounds on. So haven't really changed anything other than changing the injection from Mounjaro to Wegovy, and I put 2 pounds on. I do think I'm not eating enough food, and that could be one of the reasons why I've put weight on. Might sound absolutely ridiculous, but if you don't eat enough calories or don't eat enough food, then your body's not got enough going through it, and your basal metabolism does tend to reduce. So therefore, how many calories your body burns at rest reduces, because it feels it doesn't need to burn as much. So as you get lighter, that happens anyway. But if you don't eat enough, it automatically does it to reduce your calorie consumption. So I think that's my issue. I think that's why I put weight on. So I weighed myself again this week, which will have been the 27th of October, and my weight was back at 11 stone 6.5, which again is 160 pounds and a half, or 72 kilos ish. So my previous week will have been 162 pounds. We put 2 pounds on. So my weight since I started Wegovy has pretty much stuck the same. So it's been 11 stone 6.5. So I haven't really lost any weight. But when I moved over to Wegovy, I did move over to a lower amount. So it was half a milligram, so 0.5 milligrams of Wegovy. Now I've done 4 of those jabs. So after 4 of those jabs, I haven't lost any weight. But again, I think that's down to the fact that I'm not eating enough. So how was my last 2 weeks on Wegovy? Well, I do think the wegovy is more nauseous, so I do tend to have nausea on a daily basis. So I take my jab on a Thursday. So on a Friday, Saturday, Sunday, I tend to be more nauseous. As I get through the week, it does tend to reduce. One of the big things I do to try and reduce my nausea is mint tea. Mint tea really helps with bloatedness and nausea. Have put a link in the description to the mint tea that I like, which is the pucker one. Really nice, triple mint, really nice flavour. The Twining ones is nice as well, but I think the pucker one's the nicest one. So I think that is why I'm feeling a bit nauseous. I think it's down to the wegovy jab, and that does make me feel a bit more nauseous. Hunger-wise, yes, I have felt hungry. I have felt more hungry, although I have been trying to increase my protein, which then hopefully will make me feel fuller for longer. So in the mornings, I have been having a protein shake every day, especially when I do exercise, and I do tend to exercise most days. So exercise-wise, when I do exercise, I do tend to have a protein shake in the morning, which then whatever calories I've burnt on that exercise, I'm replacing with the protein shake. So therefore, I'm not in as big a calorie deficit as I would be. But nausea, yes. Not really had the stomach griping pains that I've had previous weeks over the last 2 weeks. Could be because my body's getting used to it. So this week, when I take my jab this week, I'm going to be taking the 1 milligram jab, so that's upping it slightly. And so that's hopefully what's going to help me out. Hopefully continue the reduction in weight slightly. Again, I don't really want to lose that much more weight. It's more about the height to waist ratio. So I'm still sitting on the 0.48 marker for height to weight ratio. So my waist did height to waist ratio. So my waist measurement did drop another 0.5 centimetre this week when I measured myself on Monday, but I'm still at 0.48, and my goal for that is 0.45. I did drop a YouTube short this week showing my photographic progress over the time. I think there's 10 photos on it, showing what my stomach size has reduced from when I started to probably a couple of weeks ago was the last picture I took. So that's been dropped as a YouTube short. So what I'm going to do now is talk around my exercise. So when I exercise, I tend to use a stationary trainer in the house. So that's a bike. So I use a watt bike, and the watt bike is basically a stationary bike in the house, which has a resistance to it. So when I pedal, it's harder than just pedaling a bike, and it's all computer controlled. So I also use an app on my computer called Zwift, and Zwift is like a computer game on the bike, but it incorporates a workout in it. So what I will do now is I'll put on the screen my workouts for the last 2 weeks on Zwift, so you can just see what I've done over the last 2 weeks. I'll also put a picture up here of the watt bike so you can see what that looks like. But how that works is basically I get on it like a normal bike. It's in the room that I'm in now, and then I pedal. So I will talk through that now. So what you can see here is my Zwift rides for the last couple of weeks. So you've got all my rides over the last couple of weeks. So you can see I've done quite a lot of rides there. So what I've done now is we switched over to Garmin. This is how I record all my rides. What we've got here is we've got all my rides for 2 weeks from the 13th of October right the way through to the 26th of October, which was 37 minutes long. So if we have a look at that, you've got a virtual route there, and then what you've got here is the power that I was outputting during that ride. Now this particular one was a virtual climb, so you can see the wattage. So if you went to the wattage goes up to 300 odd watts. You can see my heart rate over the time, and that's how the system deciphers what calories I burnt over the time. So you can see that that was a ride on that particular day. Don't know what this is going on with now. So there's the ride. If you press play on that, it'll tell you what I did. So I went up the hill, and this is a hill, although it doesn't look like one. Different colours show different exertions. Yeah, so that's ultimately what I did on that particular day. So normally I would do somewhere between 25 and 40 minutes on there. On this particular day I did 37 minutes, so 40 minutes. And that was quite a difficult one, because like I say, it was going uphill, so it was quite difficult. So you can see the average heart rate 130, maximum heart rate 153. Speed doesn't really matter. It's a tempo training effect for me for that one. So that one, and I burnt 286 kilojoules. So I think that's about 273 calories. It says there, and that's what you can see from that. So that's my workouts for a week. If you find this interesting, then it could be something we carry on doing on a weekly basis. One of the other things that I said that I was going to try and do this week was I'm going to try and increase my protein intake. So what I've been using and what I found is quite good is these drinks. That's back to front on the camera. I'll try and get the camera to switch it around. So they're called wegovy. It's protein water. So it's like a flavoured water, and it has added protein in it. And it really just does taste like water. So if you're trying to increase your protein, I think these are really good. They're really nice tasting. This particular one is strawberry and rhubarb, which is really nice, and there's a watermelon one that's really nice. So they have, in this one bottle, so 500 millilitres, 20 grams of protein. 20 grams of protein, that's a good chunk of protein, that. And they're only 90 calories. You can get them from Holland & Barrett, or you can get them from Amazon, or you can get them directly from the company that sell them. Again, I'll put a link in the description to the Amazon page where you can get them from. I'll be honest though, they're not cheap. They are quite expensive, but they are really tasty. And if you want a quick protein hit, they're really, really good. The other thing I've been trying out this week, or the last couple of weeks, is this. So Huel, one of the other channels that I follow, Phil L, he swears by Huel, says how good it is. I mean, these ready-made drinks, this is a white one, but you get the black one. So this one's got 20 grams of protein in it, and it's got everything you need in it as well. So it's a full meal replacement. So it's 400 calories for this, and it's got 20 grams of protein. So really gives you everything you need. But the black one is 30 grams of protein, so it's a higher level of protein. It's a little bit more expensive than this one, but you can get them when they're on offer. And if you subscribe to Huel, you can get them a lot cheaper, or you can buy the powder, which I've got some powder, which you can make the drinks yourself, and then you can decide how strong you want them, how thick you want them, and also what level of protein you want. So if you have 2 scoops, that's 30 grams of protein. If you have 1 scoop, that's 15 grams of protein. So that really supports your day-to-day food intake. So it's giving you 400 calories of food. It is vegan and vegetarian safe, so there's no meat stuff in there, although I do like meat, so I'm not a vegan, I'm not a vegetarian, but I think it's really good if you're on the go, if you're in the rush and you want something to eat. I think these are really, the ready-made ones are really nice. The powdered one is nice, and I would recommend, if you're going to make the powdered one though, that you use a blender because it mixes it better. But again, I've got a code if anyone wants to get a subscription from Huel. If you use my code, you'll get 15 quid off your first order, which is quite good. And if you do subscribe to Huel, you get an extra 10% off on top of that. I think on your first subscription, I think when we got our first subscription, you get a free shaker with it and a free t-shirt. Not that a t-shirt's anything to go by, but yeah, I think it's really nice. So they're just two little things that I use to help me, along with the mint tea, which I think is really good. So that's all for this week. But if anyone wants anything else, add in any questions on the Zwift or the Watt bike, I'll be happy to help them. Any questions on the Wegovy? Obviously, this week I'm going to move up to the higher dose. Let's see how that affects me. And then next week we'll see what happens. And I'll speak to you all soon.